So, Warhammer, one of the most popular tabletop games in the world, where people spend copious amounts of time and money to build and paint the miniatures. I'm one of those suckers that spend their time and money on this hobby. Oftentimes, they'll take their miniatures to battle other people's armies to prove who can roll dice better. Hi, my name is Noodleknite, and this is how I got into Warhammer. My first exposure to Warhammer was actually playing the demo for the first Space Marine game on Xbox 360. At the time, though, I didn't really know much about it. I actually thought it was World of Warcraft in the far future. The only similarities I got was that they both had orcs.
Space Marine!
Playing the demo was really cool. I didn't understand what a Space Marine really was and thought they were part of the Future Alliance. Unfortunately, I didn't have any money to buy the game because I was a kid. So I never fully got into the Warhammer universe at that time. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm heading over to a friend's place to play Magic the Gathering. As I'm helping set up the table and grabbing things from his room, I noticed some small miniatures on his desk and display case. I asked him what they were, and he said, Warhammer 40k. Miniatures at the time, though, he had were the Death Guard, Trader Space Marines. He and his friend both bought the launch box for 8th edition. The models looked really cool, even though he had them unpainted. My other friend, who was also playing with us at the time, wanted to get into the hobby as well. I felt really compelled to join as more and more of my friends wanted to get into Warhammer. So after playing Magic that day, I started out watching some YouTube videos about the game and searching up the internet about the general lore. Safe to say was that I was hooked. So what kind of faction appealed to me the most were the Space Marines. Yes, I am very basic, but what can you say about someone who likes medieval knights? So I'm looking into the lore of Space Marines and stumbled upon the different varieties. The ones that drew me in the most were the Thousand Suns. I was browsing the different models on the GW website, and the Magnus model looks so beautiful. At the time, Thousand Suns didn't really have a combat patrol box or start collecting box, so it'd be hard on my wallet. Nonetheless, another faction that drew my attentions were the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels, to my understanding at the time, were the red color Space Marines that specialized in fast-moving and hard-hitting units. Their Primarch, Sanguinius, was the most noblest and mightiest until he was killed by his brother Horus during the Horus Heresy. Reading up on their lore, characters, and playstyle was what I really wanted as the first army into 40k. So me and a friend went to a local mall to buy our first Warhammer models. My friend bought the Orc Star collecting box and I bought the Blood Angels ones. The Blood Angels came with Tactical Marines, Terminator Captain, and a Ball Predator. I built it all without understanding that each weapon had a different weapon profile for the game and that each unit had points assigned to them. So a couple weeks later, after I built everything, I got together with friends to play our first Warhammer game. Everyone had gray unpainted models on the battlefield. Let's just say I sucked at playing the game. I lost every fight, but you know what? It was really fun. I enjoyed getting together and throwing dice with my friends to determine what the outcome of what your units do. At this point, I was really hooked on everything Warhammer related. Within a couple months of buying my Blood Angels, I was already looking at another army. The second army I chose were the Tyranids. I was mainly drawn to them because they reminded me of the Zerg from StarCraft and the fact that I also like bugs a lot. Having an endless swarm on the battlefields felt really, really cool. Moving all the models around, not so much. Not even a year later after I started playing, I bought a third one. I went with the one I originally started with, the Thousand Suns. Not even a year after I started playing, I bought a third army. I went with the one I originally wanted to start with. This time, they had a start collecting box. By my first year of getting into Warhammer, I had 3 armies, all unpainted. I wanted to change that. Playing with the Grey Tide all the time felt really boring. So I went to the store and picked up some red primer and paint. The first army I decided to paint were the Tyranids in High Fleet Behemoth scheme, an easy scheme that I somehow managed to mess up anyways. It was my first time using primer, so I applied the primer way too close to the little figures and oversprayed them a lot. So the first ones I painted looked really rough, but that's to be expected. A Gene Stealer paints from the starter kit. It looked okay for a beginner painter. Then over time, I painted my Tyranids, but wasn't really satisfied with them. I tried contrast paint to make things easier, but later learned on that hand painting an undercoat on makes the contrast paint look kind of funky. So I had a somewhat decently painted army, but at the time when me and my friends were starting, it was the start of COVID. We couldn't really play any games anymore until we were all vaccinated. So start of COVID occurs. I was at home a lot of time during that period. I took a break from my schooling until it was okay to return to the classrooms. Past the time, I painted a lot. I watched a lot of painting tutorials. I tackled a different army this time, and it was the Thousand Suns. It was a challenge. Each Rubik Marine I wanted to paint took forever, and I was so afraid of painting Magnus. I procrastinated so much that I got him done within about a month or so. This was the best looking army I did at the time, and I was really proud of it because of how difficult it was to paint it without any painting experience at all. Fast forward to present day, I have assembled and painted 6 different armies, 2 of them being from Age of Sigmar. Yes, I got into Age of Sigmar. It's a whole lot of fun. A lot of my friends that I started playing Warhammer with have gone and done other things, and only one of them remains that plays consistently with me. It's okay to step away from the hobby from time to time. Besides, it's not like I just play Warhammer with them. Recently, another friend got into Warhammer and he really likes the Necrons. He asked me if I can help him paint and play his Necrons. I also got him Space Marine 2 because why not? We played it together and he really enjoyed it. It was really funny playing co-op with him that he discovered that all the colors that you can paint your Space Marine were referencing the colors from the Citadel paint range. I was really happy he was interested in the hobby, but he didn't like how much the models cost. Honestly, I'm happy that more and more people are learning about Warhammer. It's always exciting to see their first interaction with it. I'm still in the process of finishing up a couple models, mainly basing the bases of each model, which I really suck at. I'm not gonna collect any more armies for the time being as I'm having less and less room to store them. And just remember that Warhammer is for anyone interested, and it is our job within the community to welcome them. After all, we were just like them in the beginning. And thank you for watching, and let me know how you got started with Warhammer in the comments below.